Hey y'all, peace. I am trying to check to see if if it's actually live this time because I've tried once already. So let me just check. Hey, it actually worked this time. So I hope you all can hear me. Peace, 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 peace. This is Ashma, of course, and I actually have been experiencing some things lately, right? And I wanted to share it with you all. So the title of this live is "Get Out Your Own Way," right? So I wanted to just speak a little bit about that because that has been my experience as of recently. So, we all have been experiencing the effects of Mercury retrograde, and let me know if you can hear me first of all before I get started. Let me know if you can hear me. I think you may be able to hear me, but if you can't, let me know. Anyway, if you I don't want to go too far without knowing for sure. So hold on. Okay, great. You can. Good. I don't want to hear myself. Okay, great. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so like I was saying, so we all have been experiencing the effects of this last Mercury retrograde, especially with the other planets that was in retrograde as well, right? I believe it was Pluto, Saturn, Jupiter, and Neptune, maybe. All those planets was in retrograde as well as Mercury. So we have been feeling the effects of them. And one of the things I can say is that a while back, I had got a reading done, and the reading had said that I was wishy-washy, right? I was like, wishy-washy? Like, how am I wishy-washy? Like, I show up, I give 110% every time I come, live or doing classes or doing readings. Like, this is what I love. This is my passion. So I didn't understand the ancestors really saying that I was wishy-washy at the time until they said it. When they said it, I was like, let me just think about this a little bit longer to see, where they may be coming from. So anyway, time goes on, life circumstances happen. Now, if you have been paying attention, my birthday was Wednesday, which seems like such a long time ago already. But my birthday was on Wednesday. And so right before my birthday, I had got one of the largest tests that I could possibly have thought would come around my birthday. So, I'm working my way through this test and really thinking about the circumstances around the test, and also the people that were involved in it, and understanding at the time how much I have really grown over the years, how much spirituality and working with my ancestors has developed me, has refined me over time, has really I've been able to really see my growth over the years. I'm gonna say that. And so, times continuing to go on, and I recognize and I realize that I was in the middle of a test and that things had changed. So I was really proud of myself in a lot of ways, even though you understand you might have gone through a test, you can still also feel the effects of that test. You know what I'm saying? So you still have to deal with your emotions. You still have to feel you feel it in you. You feel like you've gone through something, which is why, we encourage people to keep yourself cleansed, do your spiritual baths and things of that nature. Keep yourself, because it's not just other people, it's us too, that we are accumulating debris. We're constantly accumulating debris around us. And so that debris has an effect on our vibration, how we operate. And this is why a lot of times we are feeling drained. So anyway, time goes on, and I'm like, okay, I passed that test. Thank you, ancestors, for guiding me. Thank you for the direction. Thank you for the support, that I was shown, the grace that I was shown in the midst of this, this grand test that was happening. And so time goes on, and, circumstances are what circumstances are, and things are being revealed, right? And ends up talking to a sister friend. And me and her just, kicking it, building. It wasn't about anything specifically. We were just pretty much catching up. And we get into a conversation about this wishy-washy thing. That's why I started that, the wishy-washy. I was like, yeah, I show up, da 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 da. She was like, yeah. She was like, but so what's keeping you from really like putting yourself out there? And I was like, truth be told, I kind of like the background. I'm laid back. There's things that I'm just not like, this is the way I am, like I like being laid back. And she got like, when she revealed to me, what she revealed to me was so eye opening, mind blowing that I had to really sit with myself. And so I just wanted to go back a little bit because a lot of times when we're in situations or things are occurring, we tend to find blame in other places, right? We find blame in our circumstances. Oh, if such and such didn't happen, then I wouldn't have done such and such. Or we find blame with people. This person made me feel like that they were disrespecting me, or they made me feel like I had to do this. I had to stand up for myself. I had to do whatever the circumstances might be. But in actuality, a lot of times it's us. You know what I'm saying? Like, we are literally getting in our own way by not wanting, like, because change is uncomfortable. Change is uncomfortable. And so when you recognize and realize that you are being called to change. You are being called to transform. It's it's an elevation. He's sitting around. I know y'all know. But it's definitely an elevation, right? And so for me personally, this going live, showing up in this particular way. Like, if you decide that you want to come and check me out, like, I'm completely fine with that. Like, in person, I love it. I'm a social butterfly. I don't mind. But let's go live, let's be on video, that's a real challenge for me. It's a real challenge for me. But to be honest, what I recognize now is that I have been wishy-washy. Like, it's not the way I show up. It's that I have been wishy-washy about who it is that I am and what it is that my life is being, like, my purpose is calling for me. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I prefer, and this is not like I said, I love people. I like to socialize, but I don't necessarily like to be like the center focus of attention. Like, that's not something I'm very comfortable with. And so that recognition, by talking to my sister last night, that recognition of how much I have been hiding over my life and the things that stemmed from me preferring not to be seen is still playing out right now. And so I can't really blame.
So is that saying, like, when you show up, but then it's like you don't like being the center of attention when you show up, but when you have to be in that place, you show up. You know what I'm saying? Like, you should always bite the bullet, like you show up.
He's so encouraging, y'all. He's so
No, I'm just
encouraging.
asking, like, because, like, the wishy-washy, like, you don't like always being in the center of attention, but when you do, you show up.
I mean, okay, so I'm going to even talk about what he's saying. So what he basically said was, like, even though you don't like to be the center of attention, when it's time for you to be, you show up. Okay, that is true in a sense, because honestly, it's about consistency, right? It's about constantly being comfortable with going live, with making, being transparent about myself and what it is that I'm experiencing and how, I am growing and developing, and being transparent about your personal shit is not the easiest thing to do. So me being the person that I am, I prefer to keep my life private. Like, I truly prefer my life to be private. When we're talking about universal principles, when we're talking about spirituality, I feel like everybody should have access to the information. I feel like everybody should be able to grow in this way, because it has definitely changed my life. But I also have to be able to show up in my authenticity and who it is that I am, and be comfortable in that space. So it is a challenge. It's definitely a challenge for, every single time that I come on live or I am put in a position of being the center of attention, then I have to really work within myself to bite the bullet. Like biting the bullet is not an easy thing. The fear, what I understand is that the fear and the anxiety that I feel is actually has to be transformed into adrenaline for me to be able to push through the uncomfortability. You see what I'm saying? So every time I do this, I actually am working myself up to do this. You know what I'm saying? And it's anytime like this, we can build and that's fine. But the spotlight, so anyway, speaking with her yesterday, it just made me have that realization, like, oh, so that's how I'm wishy washy, because for me, going live is like, or even in a group setting. So if you have entered into the etheric touch yet or anything of that nature, taken any of my classes, I usually limit the class size to around 10 clients and students for my benefit so that I don't have to feel overwhelmed about presenting, about talking, about all of it. There's ways that I've had to push through. But all of that to say, I couldn't blame you all for me not wanting to show up. You know what I'm saying? I can't blame my phone for me not showing up. I can't blame other circumstances or people for me not presenting, because this is my purpose. This is my goals. This is my destiny to live. And so I have to work through my own shadows, those things that triggers for me in order to be able to do these things. And so when I recognized and realized when what she was saying, like what the ancestors was telling me about me being wishy-washy, what I recognized and realized is that I'm really in my own way. I'm the one that's in my own way. And for me and in my purpose and in my destiny, it's important that I show up and I speak my truth and I express myself in the ways that I express myself, in order for others to have the courage to explore their own, to discover their own, and to stand in their own expression of who it is they are, whether it's the divine masculine or the divine feminine. Like but especially the divine feminine, in a world that we have been suppressed, our expression has been suppressed. It is important that we are seeing representations of us expressing ourselves. That is empowering. That is power. So I am learning that it is time for me to get out my own way.
Because when you show up, so much healing takes place.
He said, because when I show up, so much healing takes place.
Yeah.
But that's part of my purpose. You see, my purpose is to be love. My purpose is to help to heal this planet, like spread it, like allow it to ride with joy and happy. Like that's my purpose here. And so if I'm hidden away, then I'm neglecting half of my purpose. Like, of course, I'm always constantly working on my own healing, my own growth, my own development, my own spiritual path and journey. Like, of course, I'm always in the midst of that. I'm alive. I'm here on this dimension. But then in realms of, okay, but there's another part of your purpose that you're neglecting or you won't show up for or you're not consistent in. Okay, I had to really sit back and understand why that is. And it's because I prefer to be hidden away, And so I have to get out of my own way. And I wanted to just come on and share this with you all, because we are at the end of Mercury retrograde now. Like, we're out of that time period. Most of the planets are going back into direct now, which means that we have more of the ability to move forward and heal and do the things necessary to be on our assignments. And so for me in this day, that is what I am working towards, getting out my own way. Because the one thing I don't, and it's so interesting too, because when the ancestors told me that I was wishy-washy, they also told me I was in my own way, And so it's such a blessing because, most people don't understand the importance of divination, right? Divination gives us clarity about the situations that are at hand, whatever the situation may be. And the
Yes.
ability to see in all directions, right?
Yes.
So situations come up, thus is life. And then we go get a divination and the ancestors speak. They have the messages that they give us. And we have, because of free will, we have the ability to say yes or say no, to accept it or reject it. In my case, when they said you're wishy washy, I had to really check myself like, you know what, I am wishy-washy, you know what I'm saying? That's true about me. And from that space I was able to say, okay, well, that opened the door to allow the message to come fully in. Like, this is not the way you're wishy-washy. Like, when it comes to the brand itself, I have my I's dotted, T's crossed. When it comes to the classes, I's dotted, T's crossed. When it comes to the readings, when it comes to the energy work, like the things that I know about myself, like those things are on point. So when they said you're wishy-washy and they said you have to get out your own way, I had to really say, well, what is that own way? Like, what, how am I in my own way that has nothing to do with anybody else? And this is the way, like, I have to push past my own uncomfortability to show up in the way I'm supposed to show up in order for certain things to happen.
Yes. Yes.
I have to be in place for that, And so one of the things that was very, like, just eye-opening and revealing is get out your own way. Like, don't make any excuses. Don't find any excuses. If there's something that you really want to accomplish in your life, then show up and do it. Like, do it regardless of the fear. Do it regardless of the anxiety. Do it regardless of the worry. One of the things that I have been, one of the ways that I'm able to show up more on lives is talking to you all as if y'all are my home people, like y'all are my family. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not going to be uncomfortable with my family. I'm not going to be uncomfortable with my family. I'm going to be like, with my family, the people that love and adore me, I can say whatever I need to say. And I can do whatever I need to do. And I don't have to hide away from it. Like, I can stand in my power and show up and play my part. So hopefully you will too. You know what I'm saying? And ultimately, right, that's what village is. That's what community is that we're all playing our part. It's not, in the village, you didn't have to know how to do everything. All you had to do is rely on your fellow man or woman, your sister, your brother, your family. You took care of your position and they took care of theirs, and we come together and we share, you know? It's not to say that anybody is to just be taken from you. No, you have to understand your own boundaries as well. But when it's time to do the work, show up and do the work. If you're gonna get a divination, in that divination there is work that is coming out of that divination. Show up and do the work. If you want change to happen, show up and do the work, and then you will see results from that. It has not failed. We are here on in this lifetime to do the work. Who are you working for? Are you working for yourself? Are you working for your ancestors? And if you are working for those two entities, which are the most important, which ultimately comes right back, right? Ultimately comes right back to yourself. Who are you working for? Myself. You see what I'm saying? I'm not talking about entrepreneurship. I'm talking about in life, as in your destiny and your purpose. If you're doing those things, then when you get a divination, do the work that is necessary. You will see results. Otherwise, you are actually being used by somebody else. You're actually being used by somebody. Another energy is using you, whether it's society, whether it's your family, whether it's the job. Somebody else is using you, is using your energy. You know what I'm saying? So you get to decide how your energy is going to be best optimized in this lifetime. Okay. So I just really wanted to share that with you all. Real quick, we are having a winter solstice retreat at the end of the year. We'll be storytelling, fire ceremonies, plant medicines on deck, So if you're interested, the link is it's scrolling on by. You can go to Linktree/Etheric Touch, and it'll be right there to take you right to the event page. We are looking forward to this and celebrating the winter solstice in the ways of the ancients. We're gonna spend, people spend time with Christmas, but do we spend time doing the work of our ancestors? You know what I'm saying? Do we understand what it really means, and are we dedicating ourselves to that? Because ultimately, that's what we're here for, right? So anyway, I'm Ashin Sola, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.
Yes.